Hello everyone. On the night of April 14, 1912, the RMS Titanic, one of the most luxurious and celebrated ocean liners of the time, struck an iceberg and sank into the North Atlantic Ocean. The tragedy resulted in the deaths of over 1,500 people, making it one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history. Despite extensive investigations and research into the disaster, the sinking of the Titanic continues to be the subject of many conspiracy theories. In this video, we will explore some of the most popular conspiracy theories related to the Titanic and attempt to separate fact from fiction. Conspiracy Theory 1: The Titanic sinking was a plan. According to this theory, the ship's owners, White Star Line, planned the disaster as part of an insurance scam. The theory goes that the Titanic was not the real ship that was supposed to make the voyage but was instead its sister ship, the Olympic, which had previously been damaged in an accident. The damaged Olympic was allegedly switched with the Titanic, and the latter was deliberately sunk to claim insurance money. However, this theory has been widely debunked. There is no evidence to suggest that the Titanic sinking was anything other than a tragic accident caused by a collision with an iceberg. Additionally, the idea that the Titanic was swapped with the Olympic has been discredited by historians who point out that the two ships had significant differences in design and appearance. Theory 2: The Titanic was sunk on purpose. According to this theory, J.P. Morgan wanted to eliminate competition in the shipping industry by sinking the Titanic and blaming it on an iceberg. Morgan knew that the Titanic was unsinkable, but he ordered the shipbuilders to use substandard materials and construction methods to ensure that it would sink. He also allegedly ensured that the Titanic had an insufficient number of lifeboats, which led to a higher death toll. Supporters of this theory point to Morgan's cancellation of his own passage on the Titanic at the last minute as evidence of his involvement. However, there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, and it has been widely discredited by experts and historians. Conspiracy Theory 3: The Titanic was cursed. Some people believe that the Titanic was cursed from the outset. According to this theory, the Titanic was built using materials and techniques that were cursed, and that this curse ultimately led to the ship sinking. However, there is no evidence to support this theory. The Titanic was built using the best materials and techniques available at the time, and there is no indication that any of these materials or techniques were cursed. Theory 4: The iceberg cover-up. Another popular theory is that the sinking of the Titanic was not caused by an iceberg at all, but by a conspiracy to cover up a more embarrassing cause of the disaster. According to this theory, the Titanic collided with a British Navy ship, the HMS Hawke. And the iceberg story was invented as a way to avoid a scandal that would have damaged the reputations of both the White Star Line and the British Navy. Supporters of the iceberg cover-up theory point to a number of inconsistencies in the official version of events. For example, they argue that the Titanic was traveling much faster than it should have been in iceberg-infested waters and that the crew did not take appropriate action to avoid the iceberg. They also point out that there were no witnesses to the iceberg collision and that the damage to the Titanic's hull was inconsistent with the damage that would be expected from an iceberg impact. Conspiracy Theory 5: The Titanic was attacked by a giant octopus. Believe it or not, there are some people who think that the Titanic was attacked by a giant octopus. According to this theory, the octopus was angered by the ship's presence in its territory and attacked the vessel, causing it to sink. Of course, there is no evidence to support this theory either. While there have been reports of giant octopuses in the ocean, there is no evidence to suggest that they are capable of sinking a ship as large as the Titanic. Theory 6: The sinking was caused by a coal fire. Another theory surrounding the sinking of the Titanic is that a coal fire in one of the ship's bunkers was responsible for weakening the ship's hull and making it more vulnerable to damage from the iceberg. Supporters of this theory point to evidence that a coal fire was burning in one of the ship's bunkers for several days before the Titanic set sail and argue that the fire may have weakened the bulkhead in that area of the ship. However, experts have largely dismissed this theory as well. While it is true that a coal fire was burning on the Titanic before it set sail, there is no evidence to suggest that the fire played a significant role in the ship's sinking. Conspiracy Theory 7: The Titanic was sunk by a German U-boat. Another popular theory suggests that the Titanic was sunk by a German U-boat. As part of a military operation during World War I, proponents of this theory argue that the German government wanted to demonstrate its military power to the rest of the world by sinking the world's most luxurious passenger liner. However, this theory has also been debunked. At the time of the Titanic sinking, Germany was not at war with the United Kingdom. And there is no evidence to suggest that a German U-boat was present in the area at the time of the disaster. Conclusion. Despite the many conspiracy theories surrounding the sinking of the Titanic, there is overwhelming evidence to suggest that the disaster was a tragic accident caused by a collision with an iceberg. While it is understandable that people may want to seek out alternate explanations for the disaster, it is important to rely on evidence and facts rather than unsubstantiated claims and rumors. That being said, the Titanic remains a fascinating subject of study and research. The disaster has inspired countless books, films, and documentaries, and continues to captivate the public's imagination more than a century after its sinking. In the end, the most important thing is to remember the lives that were lost in the disaster and to honor their memory. The Titanic serves as a reminder of the dangers of human hubris and the power of nature, and it is our responsibility to learn from its lessons and ensure that such a tragedy never happens again. So that's all for today's video. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.